Scott, did you have something?
I think,
Just recycling?
that's Willie, I think.
Okay.
He really wanted on this,
Oh,
about recycling.
on that recycling, I can't get the people that are supposedly picking up the recycling here from Denver. They come and pick it up and pay X amount, but they won't go to Bird City and pick it up. They want us to deliver it here. We have no way of bringing it here. So, and we're getting way overloaded with it over there. I have two things I would like to consider. I'm trying to talk to her now and see if we can rent or hire a truck to haul it for us from there and take it to them, see if they'll do that instead of them coming for it. Or start throwing it into the dump until we figure out something. Because we're having problems here in St. Francis too with it.
Okay.
With having them come for it.
Sure like to be able to get it to Sandy and not put it in our dump, but that'd be,
Yeah, well, like I say, over there in Bird City, we don't have any way to bring it here. You know, we need a big trailer or something.
They used to haul stuff over here. I mean, I don't know if
Yeah,
that's size, but
we did used to haul it over, the cardboard, but it was unbaled, and they would bale it here. This before we had a baler, before we had our recycling center.
okay.
But I don't know what the answer is. Like I said, I even called the lady from the recycling place down there in Denver and told them we would give them the cardboard if they'd come and get it.
Yeah.
For whatever 15 miles is too much, I don't know. I don't understand why they won't do it.
Doesn't make sense either.
So I just,
Do you have a forklift to load it?
yeah,
So can't the city of Bird City get a flatbed trailer and load tails and
Do we
haul them
need-
over here?
well, I don't know where
Talk to
we
City.
get one. And on top of,
Flatbed trailer? Surely,
I've got one too.
They're all
You can
over
use
the
one of
country.
mine.
and then on top of that, Dan, he doesn't really want us to bring it here either. Because then we have to bring it here, unload it. He's stuck with it, and then he's gotta load it onto another one, again.
Right.
So, probably what I'm gonna do is, before we consider doing something else, I'm gonna see if I can't talk the lady into just buying it if we haul it there, to have a trucking company come and,
Maybe use the, if they buy it, maybe use that money to pay for the truck to haul it over there, at least get rid of it. Is that what you're thinking?
yeah, that's what I was thinking, because
They're $10 a ton or 15?
it's 10.
10?
10 is where we were at last time. But I figure I'll keep contacting her. I'm in contact with her now and see if they're gonna do it. But I think we'll wait. I'll just have to wait until maybe the next meeting till
You get more information?
she lets me know if we could do that. I don't see why they wouldn't,
Right.
you know, because they're still getting it. They're not picking it up personally, but,
And it's a 30-mile round trip, less for them if we can do it, I
Yeah.
guess. Okay.
so that's where I'm at with that.
Well, let me know if I can help you. All right, we ready?
yep.
Robert, you're up.
Okay. Oh, you guys have a copy of that already? Great.
Sure.
Good. So basically, the way I'm seeing this, I got these questions and answers, but like, I think the first question is the existing office, is it adequate to the task? And the answer is yes, it's done that for 30 years. It's nicer than surrounding airports. I mean, you guys used to hire us to provide it to the community. I mean, so it's obviously, it does what it needs to do. The next question is, does ADA compliance matter? And the answer is no, because it's a used building, because none of the surrounding airports have ADA compliance. and because light aircraft aren't ADA compliant. I mean, to get in and out of a light aircraft, you have to crawl up on the wing or step over the landing gear, which is fundamentally impossible from a wheelchair. I mean, let's face it, pilots and passengers of light aircraft just can't, they don't need ADA compliance. It would be nice if it wasn't that way, but that's the truth.
Well, don't you have a ramp there anyway?
I do, but full ADA compliance, that's a good question. Full ADA compliance requires, as I understand it, those doors that you push a button that swing open and big giant bathrooms.
Oh,
and-
okay, yeah.
I mean, so there's levels of ADA compliance. My office is actually better than a lot of them, but it's not fully ADA compliant. Not the way like when you go into the Dollar General,
Yeah.
they've
Right.
got those push buttons because if you're in a wheelchair, it's hard to, as I get it, I haven't really done it, but it's hard to pull a door open and then wheel yourself in.
I can imagine.
Okay, I put in the question about political blowback, and I'm just saying, if you build a new office, there's going to be a whole lot of people driving up and looking at this new thing and saying, wow, look at this, what is it? And the answer is going to be, well, it's $1 million building, or by the time 3 years go by, a $1.1 or $1.2 million building with inflation. And I think there's going to be people saying stuff like, what do these guys think this is, DIA? Or, why not buy a new grader instead of doing this? If you buy the Grace Flying Service office, it's just low-key. I mean, the building's already there. Most people aren't even going to notice, but the pilots will have a place to go. It's a lot slicker deal. The next question is, does timing matter? And I guess my answer to that is, if this terminal is so important to the airport, which, I think most people think it is, then why wait 3 or 5 years to get it done? I mean, and in those 3 or 5 years, if you wanted to rent an office like mine, it'd be $1,000 or $1,200 a month. You multiply that by 3 years, you got $35,000 or $40,000 of. That's the value of the time of waiting. So, I mean, you can just buy this office and you can be in it in a month. It just is a done deal. And the last thing is, the pricing, and I believe my price of $175 is fair, but I want to do this deal because I honestly believe it's the best thing for the airport. And I would be saying this if Leslie was selling you this office. I still think this is the best, for the airport. So, I would take $150 or $145 if you guys want to do it. It got damaged in that hailstorm, so the trim needs repainted and the fence needs repaired. And like that, so if you guys wanted to do that stuff instead, I just take $5,000 off because that's what it's going to cost. I mean, more or less, that's what it's going to cost. And I guess that's my pitch. I just see this as like better for everybody. But
Do you currently have a land lease with the county for that building?
it's on a 35-year lease. Is that right? You think?
Okay.
And you do pay an annual amount.
And I pay $500 a year, so you guys are going to lose that.
There were just some questions, so we wanted to make sure.
Well, the lease, the way I thought about this, I'm assuming that we don't have to transfer the lease to the county because it's just the county.
Right, we would just terminate the lease.
That's what I would say, yeah. The mechanics of it, the way I see it is, we'd have to transfer, I assume you'd want Wi-Fi in there, which is now existing, and I would just, it's at Vive, and I would just transfer, the gas, the electric, and the Vive, the internet, to the county, and then I would reprogram I'd leave the Wi-Fi in there, and, program it to say, like, SYF terminal building or something, and put a password on it, so people, when they came in, there'd be a little sign inside so they'd know the password. But I mean, I think that's the mechanics of it, is transferring the utilities and changing the Wi-Fi. And
So in other words, you're saying we probably don't need to be handicap accessible.
I don't see why, because light airplanes aren't, and none of, I mean,
But the thing is if somebody was bringing up a passenger, they could, we'd have to have it handicap accessible if we had it as a county building, wouldn't we?
I can't answer that. I don't know.
none of the other airports are.
Okay.
I mean, you go to Ray, go to
I haven't been to
Holyoke,
Ray.
they have yeah, you gotta walk up steps to get in the building.
Ray, you do? I don't think you do in Ray.
Yeah,
I've been there twice. Maybe, I guess you're right.
no, I guarantee you walk up steps. And Holyoke you do. None of them have, even Colby, which is the nicest one around, doesn't have those power doors on the front.
Right.
I mean, they're just not ADA accessible. Look, I wish every building in the world was ADA compliant.
Right.
But most of them aren't. The Cheyenne Theater isn't. I'm on that board.
Okay.
You know, most of this courthouse isn't.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't get up those steps with a wheelchair. You guys don't have a ramp.
Do we have an elevator?
Oh, yeah, you do have an elevator. You're right. So you are.
And power doors.
The bathrooms are handicapped accessible.
We're like the Jetsons.
No, and it's a good thing. I mean, I think everything should be ADA compliant, but it just isn't, you know, I mean.
Right.
And yeah, there is a ramp out there. The door's big enough to get in and out, but, I mean, I don't know that the new office is gonna have any bigger door, but it's not a power door. I mean, you could add all that stuff, it's just a matter of money.
Well, that handicap stuff isn't it like the government, they say if it's existing, you don't have to.
Correct.
But if it changes hands, then you have to make it accessible?
No, I think if you, not if it changes hands, but if you upgrade it. So if you do a major renovation, then you have to do it.
I don't know.
I can't answer
The
that.
grandfather clause on that is.
I looked it up. I mean, I looked it
You
up.
did look it
Yeah,
up?
and it's
Okay.
only if you upgrade the building. That's what we're going through. I know this because we're going through it at the theater. We're trying to do a renovation down there. So then we're getting plus, we want the theater to be handicapped. I mean, you know.
Right.
But remember, you can't, I've been on the airport for 40 years, and I don't remember anybody in a wheelchair ever getting out of an airplane. It's just impossible. Well, I mean, it's sad, but you can't. Either you have to crawl up on a wing in a low-wing airplane, or you have to step over a landing gear in a high-wing airplane, and you just
never
can't
seen
get in and
I
out.
rode with Brett one day and I didn't think I was gonna get out of it.
Exactly.
Yeah, whatever.
Well, no, that's right. They aren't
Come
easy
over and
to...
help me get my legs out
There
the
was
door.
there was a crosswind warning. It was fun.
I've got nicer copies of what you guys got if you want them. I mean, there's better pictures.
I've got a good one. You can give it to them.
I don't even know where those came from, they were selling them last.
So we could look at it if we get up there. We can come look at it.
Yeah, just text me if you're going
My
to...
phone is broke, so I'm supposed to get a new one today. So I can try to text you, I guess.
Well-
I'd like to look at the basement.
Yeah, today and tomorrow would be good.
Okay.
I'm gonna, because Monday's Labor Day, and I'm gonna be out of town starting Tuesday for several days, so
Okay.
it'd be nice to do it.
If not, I can catch you sometime next week or whatever.
Right, well, I'll be gone most of the next week, so
Okay.
if we can do it today or tomorrow, it'd be a lot better. I mean, we get it done. But yeah, you guys are more than, I'd love to have you look at
Will
it.
you be there after this meeting?
Yes, if you, I mean, yeah, I can be there. I've got to meet a guy for 15 minutes, but what time's this meeting over?
About 11.
About 11. But
Maybe.
I'd like
Look,
to
I
go
could
over
just
and-
be there at 11 o'clock.
I'd like to go over and take a look at it. then.
Yeah, I'd love to have you look at it. I think you guys, I mean, yes, that'd be great.
Okay.
All right, I'll just
I'd
be
like to-
there, I'll just be around the airport around 11. You won't be out before 11, will you?
Yeah, we can only have one at a time anyway. So if he goes, then I'll come again at some other time.
Well, it's gonna take 15 minutes, come at 11:15.
I'll see. I might have patience.
Oh, you gotta
She's gonna start-
work?
Yeah.
I hate it when that
Oh,
happens.
yeah. Well, it's the way it is. Thank you for your time.
All right.
I appreciate the info.
I've been in there, Robert, a lot of times. so
Yeah, you have.
I know what we're looking at.
Right, no, I knew you had, so, yeah.
Okay, so I'll be over around, well, after the meeting's over at 11.
That's fine, I'll
You
just,
know where the airport's at?
I should be able to give him your number if he doesn't.
no, I'll just meet you at 11. You don't need to
Okay.
text me. I'll just plan on 11 o'clock. You know, more or less, it's fine. It's not a big deal. It's just I'm not always there. That's the only reason I like to be texted, because I don't want you guys standing around.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you.
Yep.
Dave, you guys are up. I'm gonna do some checks on this. They're coming next meeting. Yeah, I remember them. How are you guys?
And we had a meeting,
And I'm sorry, I completely forgot about that. I wanted to go.
I think I got enough for it.
Thank
You good with that one?
Scared myself. Short.
Thank you.
Are you good with that one, Rodney?
Yeah.
So we just wanted to let you know we had a meeting, give you the notes so that you know what the airport commission is doing. We talked about the hail damage on the courtesy car, which was extensive.
Really? Did it get totaled?
Well, we talked about it, we really don't want to total it.
Right.
What we want to do is get some insurance money so that we can, I mean, the
Gotcha.
dents aren't gonna hurt somebody driving to downtown.
Exactly.
If we can, but it broke the mirrors out, it broke the tail lights,
So get those fixed
and
and.
some of those bumper sensors, the backup sensors and so on, so
We're
that's,
we're still waiting on K-Camp,
Okay.
right.
but he did think it would be total.
Yeah, that's kind of what I had heard, so.
So I hope that we can negotiate with them and get just a settlement on it, which would, then all we really need is liability
Right.
insurance, so we don't need full coverage after that, because it's all beat up anyway. It's a good looking car, and I hated that it got beat up, but it did anyway, so. So, kind of where we're at, the AWAS is in line to get replaced. They called me yesterday, it came in, and they were shipping it yesterday. So it'll be coming in. They still have to work with the FAA to, I don't know, some paperwork to get it installed or something, so that's all in the plan of what we've been doing anyway. Snow removal equipment is the tractor, the blade, and the broom, and they're all ordered. This is probably gonna be a March, April, May thing. It just takes a long time to get equipment and stuff, so.
Hey, it'll give Mike a big broom.
Yeah, we're gonna give Mike a big broom, sweep the light stuff off.
And who will install all that?
We will. We got the bid, Yost Farm Supply did, so we'll make sure that it's all installed and
Okay.
unhook the blade and hook on the broom or whatever. We'll make sure that it's all operational.
I didn't know if it was county, people from our county would do it, or is-
Well, we really want somebody from the county there so we can, do some training on how to run the tractor, how to operate the blade and everything, so.
okay.
So probably Mike and, maybe Mike and Steve and another guy or whatever, so whatever he decides, I guess.
Well, I don't see anything on here about your snow removal.
I actually just had that on my notes. We did talk about the funds for the
Right.
snow removal and know where our current capital improvement fund is at 169,543
Right.
to our latest figures anyway.
That'll be good to get some good snow removal stuff.
Right. And then, those other 3 grants that we talked about, we did there's a lot of work, got those things turned in and got the money back, and it went into the capital
Still
improvement
haven't seen
fund.
the money yet. Like, I've asked Dawn, and then she said it hasn't come in, so I don't know what's going on with that.
I thought it did, I thought it came in. Huh,
I don't know much to our advantage in, because that figure will go up.
well. Seemed I talked to somebody and I thought it did come in, but anyway, we'll check on that.
We'll
Make
ask
sure.
Dawn when she comes in to make sure.
Okay, so then the next thing was the terminal building. We discussed the terminal building. And took a vote and made the motion to, well, and the reason that we done this is because Olson has a consultant agreement that we need to sign if approved by the county commissioners. The airport board has voted and approved to go ahead with a new building. It would be right to the west of Grace's building in that open area there.
Where the parking cars are.
Yes, yep. So,
Be in front of the parked cars, right?
yeah, it would probably take up part of that.
Okay, okay.
It'd be probably right in
In that area?
in the south end, to be even with Grace's building there.
Okay.
So, and it is, what we was talking about and wanting to do is to have a brick building with a heavy steel roof for no maintenance, one level, ADA compliant, so they can, roll in if needed and use the bathroom, stay in the warm or the cool, whichever season they're in, and,
So what did you say, something about you need to sign a contract with?
yeah, contract,
When's that?
that would start immediately. Okay,
What's that gonna cost?
that's gonna cost, I think it's 34.8, just under 35,000. So what this would be, and the reason that we're trying to do this now, there's two different grants that would apply to this. There's the BIL grant, which would be 95.5, and that's why, when those funds are available, they contact our engineer Olson, and they say, hey, the funds are ready, do you have your design and everything ready? Because if you don't have the plans and the design ready, you won't have a chance of getting it.
So our cost would be around 1,500 if it's a 95.5, is that what you're thinking?
95.5, yeah.
So it'd be, is that about right? $1,500 would be what the county would be?
Well, of this.
Yes, I just.
But this would have to be totally paid for at the time we sign it.
Right.
I mean, or there shortly after.
So the county pays for that.
Yes, but then, when the grant is applied or activated, whatever you want to say, 95% of that would come back.
Dave, what was the original number on that? I didn't get it.
The original number of
Yeah.
this, 34.8, I believe. It was, I just said 35,000 because it's right at 35,000. And what that would be the design, the,
1,540 is what? Okay.
everything. So, okay, so then the other thing is if we don't get the BIL grant, then it would be a regular FAA grant, which is 90-10. So 10% of whatever it is, and they had mentioned $1 million. So we can have a brand new, one level, low or no maintenance building for $100,000 local if it's 10%, for $50,000 if it's 95.5.
Now, if we sign this, do we don't have to go with buying the airport, buying the building. This is just a survey kind of thing?
No, this is the design for it, because the airport, and that's why we're here, the airport board has voted to go ahead with the new building. So what we're here is to, I mean, we're an advisory board. You know, we're making the best decision we can with the funds that are available and asking for the commissioners' okay on this.
My feeling is I think we need to table it for a while. We have other options.
Sure.
I think you understand that.
Oh, yeah.
And
When does
if we
those,
do this and we don't go with the grant, we're gonna end up paying $34,000. It's gonna come out.
Isn't that
If we turn it
reimbursed?
down.
Reimbursed after approval of the grant? This would
Yeah.
come back?
It would
No,
come
but
back,
if we don't accept the grant,
right.
if we don't build the building, we're gonna pay $34,000. So don't we have time to think about this and do
It's,
it?
it's totally airport
When we
and
start.
commissioner's decision. Yeah.
When we start the project?
Yeah, yeah. And this, to get the 95.5, this has got to be done and signed and sent, and then we will get the bill. If we don't do this, then what we're doing is saying we want it to go on a regular FAA grant, and then it'll be 90-10. So the sooner that we get this done, the better it
Better
is
the
for
chance.
us.
Does that have
Getting
a deadline?
the BIL?
Yeah,
What size of building are you looking at
about 1,000 square feet.
for $1 million?
Yeah. I know, it's crazy.
One thing I want to check on is if a building like that's even being, we could even insure it. That is my main concern. Because if you say I've got 1,000 square foot building, we put, you know, $110,000, or it's $1.1 million building. You break that into, divide that by $1.1 million, that's a lot of money per square foot. I don't think we're gonna be able to insure it for that. So that would be my question that I have, and so I need to check on that a
Sure.
little bit. So-
And I think that it would be, for insurance-wise, a brick building
Right.
with a heavy steel roof.
Are you
Basically, you're,
pretty resistant. Are you
Yeah.
thinking a 26 gauge roof then, or?
I don't know about that.
That's,
Just leaving that to Olson, but to make sure that they've got the,
yeah, that's what I.
no maintenance. What we want is no maintenance. Just,
Okay.
and the ADA thing is, it's not, you don't really see very many pilots that, you know, are in a wheelchair, but there could be passengers. You're talking about government stuff now. You get people that come in, hey, you're not ADA compliant, I'm gonna turn you in or whatever, you know?
Right.
I mean, I think it's better to start just right, so you don't have to worry about anything.
Well, if you're gonna build a new one, you'd have to do that.
Yeah,
Wouldn't make any sense not to,
right.
but just the amount of what it's gonna cost is,
Yeah, well, and you're exactly right. The amount that's gonna cost seems ridiculous, but it's less than you can buy an existing building, an old building with more square feet than we need.
What are the requirements, Dave, if, let's say, a tornado comes through and wipes out the building? Are you still under those same stringent requirements in regards to the replacement of that building?
That'd all be insurance.
But with the grant, because it was the grant money that was used to build it, do those requirements follow through if it's wiped out and you have to rebuild it?
I don't think so. I mean, I think that,
That's what it's up to.
at that point in time, it goes over to insurance, because once the FAA has, you know, put their grant money out, then we're obligated to do, you know, word for word like it says. And then after that, then it's all on us.
It's 1,100 a square foot is what it breaks down to. So I don't know, that's gonna be my question, I'm gonna ask K-Camp.
Okay.
Or I'll have Scooter answer them. But that's what I wanna know.
Can I leave you that, this is a copy of that agreement, or Scott, or maybe you guys don't want?
What's the size of your office?
So the main floor is 768, and the basement 768, 768 square feet.
Dave, you care if I read this quick?
Oh, you can have it.
Okay.
I got a copy.
I guess I just don't understand why we need a 30 by 30 building.
And we can cut that down to 800 square feet. The one thing we're wanting to do is to put an airlock, but it would be inside the building. It'd be if you build a square building or a rectangle, whatever, and you put an airlock that is out front, then you're gonna be more expensive. So we built the building, you walk in one door and then have a little area and then walk in the other door. That way you're not letting heat out when somebody comes in.
Which we used to have, but in our office, we used to have that, we took it out because it was just one more door to go through. But you could, if that was something you wanted to do, you just have to add a doorway inside. I mean, it's already set up to do that, if it matters.
Dave, did you tell me a deadline on the BIL grant when it was?
There is, but I don't know what that is.
Can you find out and let me know?
Yeah, I sure can, yeah. Yep.
Do you guys have any more questions for him?
Not now, no.
I hate doing it, but I think we gotta table this and think about it.
Well,
I'm sorry.
I think to get the, most important thing to me is to check on the insurance to find
Okay.
out that and the taxes is what I was gonna look at. And that'll give me more time to look through this. But again,
Taxes?
Well, we won't have to be counting taxes on our building, but
Right.
that's always at the back of my mind, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's right. Sorry.
I deserve that look.
That's all right. Okay,
I appreciate all the work you do, and I really do.
Absolutely.
But
oh,
I gotta think about it.
it's a lot of money, and I think probably in our mind, what we see is the big cost figure. And along with this, I know that the existing building of Roberts up there has got sewer to it, but it's a minimum sewer. And I know when there was fly-ins that the sewer plugged up, it's not of a capacity for a group. And this would be sewer, bringing a sewer line from the village. It would have water and sewer that are adequate. It's not a one.
We don't have any sewer issues. This thing is never, the only time it's ever been a problem is we had, 500 people in there for the stair and fly. And it just doesn't, but I mean, no, there's no sewer issues. And of course, this building's gonna be used with like twice a week, when people fly in or whatever.
95, 10, 95, 5. Okay.
And you have it, it would be nice, it'd be new, it'd be on one level. You open the door, you walk in, you go to the bathroom or sit on the couch or whatever. So
Right.
anyway, that was the vote of the airport commission, and so the rest is you guys' decision. And so if you're gonna get those figures and things, do you want us to come back at the next meeting and?
I think that'd be a good idea, don't you?
I think so, yeah.
That way we can give us some time.
We can have a meeting too, on my suggestion on that information I gave you yesterday
Yeah,
about
yeah.
insurance, and we can bring that to the board then. Those
Well, if you-
documents I got from Dawn,
Are you talking the insurance on the building?
for a new building, yeah.
Well, let me know before
Okay.
the next meeting, and I'll let these guys know.
Yeah.
That's my main question.
Yeah.
So, and then let me know on the BIL.
Yeah, okay.
What you find
Sounds
out.
good.
So,
All right.
Thank you guys for.
Thank
what
you.
do.
Yes.
All right. Oh, well. Thanks for
Thanks,
coming in.
guys.
See ya.
Thank you.
Did you have any questions, Rob, or Mike? Okay.
Does he have anything for me?
Robert,
Yes.
are those your sunglasses?
Don't
Yes, they
forget
are.
those.
I'd have been back. Thank you.
You're
I'm
welcome.
gonna ask Amount. NOTAMs and all that?
What did you say
At the end of the year?
our share, the new building would be how much money and what?
All right, we can talk about
You want me
it.
back on?
1.1 million.
I think it'd be a good idea. She's supposed to be in around 10.
Okay.
But then they're gonna go in for a 95.5 or a 90.10.
And that would give us,
Well, there must be a conflict between those two.
well, he's trying to sell a
I
building.
just
and they
know
don't
our
wanna buy
motorcycle
it.
museum's insurance doubled this year. And we're under the city. And you put $1 million building on there, it could be,
Well, there's no reason that a 30 by 30 building with a bathroom and a couple of chairs ought to cost 1.1 million.
I'm gonna use the bathroom.
I can't wrap my head around it.
Never mind, I hear her. Just gonna use the bathroom. All right, Dawn, you're up.
All right. Oh, well, okay, so office is all done and remodeled if you
You
guys
like
want
it?
to come. I love it.
Good.
And it seems to be very efficient and customers have been very excited that there's room now and they are not so claustrophobic. And
It is nice.
so we're working on, I got 2 chairs in there now, but we're working on getting a bench up from the basement, one of the pews to put in there. So there's extra room for kids and stuff to sit, so that'll be nice.
Babysitting?
Yeah, we're gonna start babysitting. I'm gonna charge a little extra. Cause right now the kids are on the pews outside and they go running and the parents can't see them, and so it's been kind of a mess. So that's, but other than that, it's done and it's great. And
Looks nice.
I updated an electrical outlet in the wall that wasn't part of the bid, so it might be just a little bit more, but it shouldn't be much. Cause it was arcing and crossing, and I'm like, well, we have an electrician here. Let's just get this one little outlet fixed. So they did do that. Other than that, it was exactly like we had planned, so hopefully the bill comes to close to the bid. So my reason for being on the agenda though was to talk about CIC, because I was at the symposium last week. The CIC had a big symposium in Mulvane. And the son of the owner passed away and the son is taking over the company. He did a speech on where the company is going and did a speech on what happened in May, and
Do you have any reassurance it won't happen again?
no.
That's my concern.
Cause they lost power the
Do
other
we-
day, it was down.
Did we get another server so we're protected?
I don't know where you guys are on
Who's we?
that, your department head meeting.
Well, as a department head meeting, we can't do anything without you, or, I mean, I thought you were gonna get quotes on server, and
Okay.
so,
Well, I just don't want it to happen again. I thought we had decided we were gonna do that, but maybe I'm wrong.
I thought we had decided as a collective for the county's purpose to request CIC to give a bid for us to have a personal server.
Okay.
And work with Reach, but
That's what I thought we had done too.
I thought Reach was getting something for us.
Yes. So I guess we just follow up on
But
that.
then there was concerns about being on a server here if there was a disaster.
right, because if the server is held in-house and the courthouse loses power,
The
the
server
server
goes
is
But we've got an automatic backup generator, correct?
not for the courthouse.
I thought.
That's just.
It's only 911 and sheriff.
Oh, okay.
So,
I just don't wanna have what happened in May, cause that was
so the thing is
Train
that
wreck.
I don't know in-house server versus server firm. It's like picking the lesser of two evils at this point.
right.
I think, honestly, after the discussion that we had, I mean, it was 3 days with them. It was an hour with the CEO. He did his little speech, and then about 5 counties, including me, cornered him. And we had another good half hour to 45 minutes. And the salesperson I kept voicing my concerns and our county's concerns, And the salesperson kept saying, well, she's special. Well, she's special. Well, she's special. And I'm like, okay, if you tell me I'm special one more time, I'm going to lose it.
Yeah.
I am not special. We are a paying customer. We are in a contract with you guys.
Right.
I'm no more special than anybody else at this table. So fix it. Like, where are we at?
Right.
They, in his little presentation of where the company is going, he also said where the company currently is. The technology that the company is currently using is 2012. So he has now realized this, and so he is dumping all sorts of money into bringing it up to 22 version stuff. And as he's listing off all of these versions of this SQL Server and this software program and this, all this background stuff, it's because 2012 is not going to be supported any longer. So he's forced. It's not that he wants to do this, it's he's being forced to do it because the platforms that they are using are not going to be supported anymore. So he's going to dump a bunch of money into updating the service, which is great. And I talked to Matt Wilson a little bit about all of these things that he listed off, and he said it sounds like the company is actually fortifying their server farm and making the hosting the platform that they are going to push for everybody. And he felt confident that the things that I told him that they were doing were going to be good things for the farm.
Okay.
So that's a positive. But then the building lost power, CIC's building lost power, and we were down because they don't have a generator. So there's all these lesser to, which one do you pick? But then the CEO said something about how because they're putting all this money into all of this new background technology to bring it up to the current standards, they're going to start dumping programs that aren't making them money.
But they've been getting paid every year since 2012, and they're not updating, so it's actually their fault, not ours.
Right,
So
yes.
You can't dump it on us and say,
So then we asked, okay, if you're putting all this money, investing all this money into this company and bringing this all up to this standard, what is that going to do for our contracts? Because as business people and just
right.
smart people in general, if you put that much money in, it's going to trickle down. Your
Yeah,
customer.
You gotta pay for it.
Yeah. So we tried to get him, is the contract's going to go up next year? Is it you're going to do 5% over the next 5 years? How are you going to do this? And he said, we can't do a gradual thing, but we don't know what it's going to be yet. We don't know when. All this unknown. It bothers me that he said that they were going to start dumping
Smaller, but
programs
yeah, that's
that
concerns
aren't
me.
making them money because they just can't put those resources into the actual CIC programs because they're putting all this money into bringing the infrastructure up. Time Clock Plus was one of them that they thought that they might dump because...
Yeah, but you can go straight with Time Clock Plus, though.
Right, but that's something that, we're going to have to look into as a county because we do use that. And if they're not going to support it anymore, how is that going to affect our... there is a lot to think about here.
We're gonna make some changes. it
And
sounds like.
he would never say what happened in May. And so when we were kind of in our own little group, we talked to him about how as a corporation, if you get hacked, yes, you can't divulge too much information right away, but it is part of your responsibility to let people that it might affect know that you